Hey everyone, so Elden Ring, is New Game Plus worth it? What's it all about? Should you do it? Should you not? And what does it unlock? Let's talk about it. First up, you can probably see something unusual about my character if you've not started New Game Plus, and that is I have two Grafted Dragons, and you get those for defeating one of the bosses in Elden Ring, but you only get one. So if you go through New Game Plus again and you defeat the same boss again, you can also claim another version of that weapon, so that enables you to dual wield like we see here with two of the same weapon. So what I'm working towards in my playthrough is I want to unlock a couple of blasphemous blades. So there's one there, but I need to get the other one as well. So if that sort of thing interests you, then New Game Plus may be something that could be of interest to you. So what else can you do in New Game Plus? Why else might you want to do it? Well, another thing you can do is collect more runes. So as you go through the game, what you'll find is the enemies will get a bit harder, but they also drop a lot more runes. So you probably remember this starting area in Elden Ring in Limgrave. And the nice thing is when you kill the enemies, you can see there I've got 460 runes, which is a lot more runes than I get starting out in the game. So the New Game Plus is rewarding me more. Now that difference you can see, that's something like 6 times more than you get in the standard game. But that goes down as you progress in the game. So you don't see as big a buff in some of the later levels, but you still get far more runes than you do under the standard version. Also the enemies are a little bit tougher, so even though I'm a huge level here, that knight still took a little bit of taking down, and this guy's still able to do a bit of damage to me even though I'm very high level. Another thing you can do by going through New Game Plus is claim all of the things like somber smithing stones, golden seeds and stuff like that to further upgrade your character or weapons, so you can explore other weapons. As you probably know, in the first version of the game there's only so many that you can collect, so going through again enables you to explore upgrading other weapons. Now the endings in New Game Plus are the same options as you get in the first one. There's no extra characters, no extra bosses, no different endings for going through New Game Plus as at the time I'm creating this video. Maybe that will come in the future, who knows. I think some previous From Software games did give different endings as you went through. But this is largely about getting much of your somber smithing stones, multiple weapons and that sort of stuff going through, and having the extra challenge and extra runes for those extra challenges as you go through. There's a couple of other things that you should be aware of though when going through New Game Plus. First of all, have a little look at your map. So you keep your maps, but you lose your sites of grace. So you have to go through again and find all of your sites of grace, and that's a little bit tiresome. To give you some idea, I've gone through these areas at the moment, and this took me just over 3 hours, and I've defeated Ranella over here. So that's where I'm at. You also lose your medallions, so you can't go and access the Grand Lift of Dectus. You can't also access using the secret medallion, so you have to go and access those again. Even though you can see the maps, you can't get there until you open those areas. So it's not like you have instant access and instant travel to everywhere else. So there's still quite a challenge to achieve these areas. And also bear in mind that everything's going to be that bit harder. So you may not want to start New Game Plus until you're very confident in your abilities. Now, if you're a rune farmer, another thing to point out is you're going to need to go back to Rose Church and indeed do that entire process to get over there before you can actually get the medal that opens up Mogwyn Palace, which we can see over here. So that took me a little while to do. I don't think it was in my inventory when I started. I forgot to check, but I've only got one in my inventory now, so I assume not. So bear in mind, to do your rune farming, you're going to need to do that as well. The upshot of that is when you go over to Palace Approach Ledge Road, which I'll do now for you, is that additional rune sort of benefit that we see in the early stages also works here as well. So if we go over to these little guys and we switch to the Sacred Relic Sword, you should see that I'm getting more runes than I was in my first playthrough. So we're getting nearly 6,000 runes per little Albinauric, which is more than I got before. So that helps with your rune farming, and of course when you're later level like I am here, I'm needing 518,555 to upgrade to the next level, and I'm level 247. So by sort of repeating and losing access to some of the areas, you're also going to get access to more runes if you're interested in doing the rune farming in this method. There are certain things that you also lose as well, one of which is great runes. So if you're interested in keeping your great runes, bear in mind you're going to go and have to defeat the bosses and also go and put those remembrances back in their great rune slot in the various divine towers, which of course is a bit of work. So it's up and down there as to whether it's worth it or not. But the idea of being able to dual wield a couple of different swords sounds cool. You can see I keep things like all my talismans. I kept all of those, all my armor, all my weapons, and all of this stuff here. But remember to claim any remembrances from the finger reader to ensure that you can then claim them again on your second playthrough. Another thing you can do is play through multiple times. So when you complete the game again, if you get to that point, you can then begin Journey 3, for example, and then again you will see a benefit of more runes, more abilities, and the option of exploring other areas as well. Different endings, that sort of stuff. That's really it with New Game Plus. Is it worth it? I think so, but make sure you've done everything that you like, in terms of exploring, because it's going to be a while before you get there again. So that's worth doing, and also make sure you've claimed all of the weapons that you want to get on your first playthrough in case you're interested in dual wielding some in this second playthrough. And think about things like your somber smithing stones. Smithing stones, try and get as many as you can on your first playthrough, and then use them in your second playthrough to upgrade weapons or collect them again. I hope that was useful to you. If it was, give us a thumbs up, please. That's much appreciated. Any comments welcome. If I missed anything about New Game Plus, if you've got any questions, hit me up. I always reply to any constructive comments, so do by all means ask a question, or if it was useful to you, I'd love that feedback as well. And if you like this sort of stuff, have a little look at the rest of my channel. I've got over 170 tutorials on Elden Ring. I play many other games as well, like FIFA 22. There's Witcher 3 content on my site, and much, much more. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. You'll be kept up to date with my latest and greatest videos. Thanks so much.